Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. And before we get into talking about the RAD Etnies collaboration that I know all of you are here from the title and thumbnail for, I want to talk about something that feels a little bit more important. So March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. And some of you guys might remember I did a live stream podcast with George, Cerebral Palsy BMX rider from Instagram, and we talked about how having cerebral palsy has impacted him riding BMX and learning tricks, and kind of how he wants to be an inspiration to others. So with it being Cerebral Palsy Month, he teamed up with his friends at Shadow and Sabrosa, and they're doing a raffle. So Sabrosa and Shadow both have Instagram posts as well as George on here. I'm reading from Sabrosa's Instagram post where they have a ton of information about cerebral palsy in general, as well as the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, which is where 100% of the proceeds from this raffle are going. So in their Instagram post it says, after all of the information, here's your chance to help out the cause and land a huge prize pack in the process. Each $5 donation gets you one entry in the drawing. No limit on entries, just donate in multiples of 5, and 100% of the proceeds from this fundraiser will be donated to the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, which is really, really awesome. So if you want more info on this, some of it has been on the screen for a little while yet, and then in the description down below at the very top, there's a link to George's Instagram post about all of this that contains his information on how you actually enter into this fundraiser and raffle. And with that being said, I just love to see this happening. I love that Shadow and Sabrosa are so willing to put out this much for such a good cause. I'm glad to see George spearheading it, and I'm excited to see more of this in the future. And now we can talk about RAD and Etnies. So if you weren't aware somehow, I know a lot of the older guys who are watching this probably are wearing their RAD Etnies on their feet right now, and they probably haven't taken them off since they got them. But there is a RAD Etnies collaboration and collection that is out right now. So there's 3 different shoes in this collection, which you've already seen, as well as 4 different short sleeve t-shirts, 2 long sleeve t-shirts, a hoodie, as well as socks and hats that are all in this collection. This is going to be one of those things that once it's gone unless you're buying it off of eBay or something. So you're probably going to want to rush over there and figure it out and hope that you're not seeing this video too late before you can't actually get your hands on some of this. Really cool stuff for all of you guys who idolized RAD as kids and grew up on this movie. It was a little bit before my time, so I don't feel the same nostalgia, but when Little Devil came back, I felt probably something similar to what you guys are feeling when this is coming out right now. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know which things you guys are going to pick up. If you're going to get the shoes, the hoodie, the shirts, the long sleeve, the socks, the hats, or if you're going to buy all of it. I want to know if there's anybody here who's legitimately going to buy all of it, because I just want to know. From here, I've got more info on the We the People hybrid hub, which a lot of people are raving about in BMX right now. If you haven't heard about it whatsoever, the quickest explanation is basically the Ezra or Salt Trapeze hub with completely updated and rethought out internals to bring it into the 21st century. That kind of explains it, but if you need more, We the People and Dave Patterson put together a quick 4-minute video that goes over all of the details you could possibly ever want to understand, and it explains them with animations and just a really, really thorough look at this hub. So anyone who needs more information or doesn't understand it yet, that is what you're going to want to see. Then speaking of rear hubs, the reason I want to talk about the Trey Jones bike check is because it shows a picture of the prototype Shadow hub that is going to be coming out. I'm going to be totally honest here, I completely forget what they put out previously about this hub. I was going to include it in a news video, but I forgot about it. So with that, this hub is called the Shadow Conspiracy Definitive Hub. It's a cassette hub. It's a prototype in this picture, but there is a picture of the hub if you want to go and check that out. And then we had the news this week that Paris Banegas has been bumped to the Vans Global Pro Team. So more great news for Paris. She's been killing it in BMX lately. She just got a frame. She was bumped to the Vans Global Pro Team. Really good stuff, and it's good to see because I'm sure that that's inspirational to so many young lady shredders out there, and I love seeing it. Then there's a couple things that I missed from last week because I recorded the video before they came out. We had the news that Dan Conway is now riding for Profile, and it came with a welcome video that also featured Dylan and Shane Leeper as well as Leighton Coghill. And man, there's something about Dan Conway. Actually, there's not something, I can pinpoint it. Dan Conway is one of the few people in BMX who I feel can ride to a hardcore screaming song and have it fit and just be perfect. If you want to see a BMX street video that is completely different than everything else out there that you've seen in the past month or even longer, probably since Dan Conway's last video, this is the one to watch. There is a gnarly soundtrack, there's gnarly riding, it fits Dan Conway perfectly, and Dylan, Shane, and Leighton also killed it in this video as well. So definitely check this one out. I'm sorry that I missed it last week, but I had to talk about it to make up for it. And then we've got another one from last week with Jason Felon, and it's called So Outrageous, and I only need to say a couple words to make you guys want to watch this one. Backflip to roller coaster grind. Yep. And that brings us to the actual videos that came out this past week. The first one that I want to talk about is a video from Tim Knoll. We haven't seen a video from him in quite a while. It's called Bike Parkour 3. This is actually a video with Devin Supertramp. If you don't know who that is, he's a filmmaker on YouTube who makes really, really awesome videos. And it's cool to see Tim and Devin working together again. They've done videos in the past. They're always really awesome. Devin does a great job at showcasing Tim's riding in more than just like holding the camera and pointing at him, as well as making dynamically engaging videos. This video was also sponsored by Genesis, which is kind of crazy and pretty huge, I feel, for Tim. So Tim, if you see this, you killed it again, and I'm excited to see more from you in the future. And staying along the lines of things that are completely different than what we see from BMX on a weekly basis, a snow bike edit came out this past week that is just insane. You have to watch this, honestly. If there's one video from this week that I would recommend watching, it's this one, because of how just radically different it is, but it's the same at the same time. It's crazy. First of all, he's riding a skate park covered in snow in parts of this video. So if you ever wished you could ride your bike at the skate park in the winter time when it's covered in snow, get a snow bike, because it definitely works based on this video. He's also doing big gaps and wall rides on stuff that normally you would never be able to wall ride because you'd have to put a wooden ramp there or something. He's got snow there and he's shredding it. The video is called Slayer's Paradise, and it comes from someone named Dustin Siganik. And one other thing that I wanted to mention in this video that I noticed at the end that I wanted to shout out in case he ever saw this, is that it says this video is dedicated to my dad, Jan Siganik, my uncle Erwin Smith, and drifter Dave. Everyone go watch it, and then come back and watch the rest of the news video, where we have to talk about so many other videos. We've got Alex Donachie Let Go from BSD, and how insane is it that there's so much other amazing stuff this week that I'm not going to talk in depth about an Alex Donachie video that is over 6 minutes long. It's pretty nuts. And we've got a video with Catfish. It's called Catfish is Getting Thick. And if you want to see another video that is totally different from anything else you'll see in BMX this week, that is one to check out, because Catfish kills it. Then we've got one called Future Proof with the Hallahan brothers absolutely shredding it in the trails, as they always do. So for all you trail people who want a trails video this week, that is the one to check out. Then we've got a skate carry session from Vital BMX with Daniel Dares, Marin Rantis, Nikita DeCaros, Charlotte Worthington, and Declan Brooks. And of course, I couldn't get through all those names without messing it up. Then we've got a How to 360 with Dan's Comp. And the only reason that I'm talking about this one is to bring up the fact that they're using someone in this video who was in previous Dan's Comp videos in the past before they got bought out and transitioned things, as well as I'm assuming the guy who was hosting the video was also affiliated with Dan's Comp before, because it just seemed like he kind of knew everything about it. I didn't recognize him, but I wasn't super close with all of that. And I know that they also hired another guy who used to work at the actual Dan's Comp location that I know. And I just kind of wanted to point out the fact that I think it's good that A-Main and Dan's Comp are, it seems like they're trying to do good things with Dan's Comp. I know it's essentially a tainted name in BMX, but I just wanted to throw this in there because it seems like they're trying to do some good things and hire people who used to work there, which is pretty cool in my book. And then we get into some videos that are a little bit longer this week for all of you guys who like longer videos. The first one comes from USL BMX, and it's with Dan Crook, and it's another bike dice video. And then we've got one that comes all the way from Russia. And since I can't speak or read Russian, surprise, right? I'm gonna read exactly what it says on BMX Union. The title is Masked Poison, And then it says down here, Inside BMX over in Russia sent through a new full-length video that dropped featuring a ton of Russia's finest going to work on street spots and parks over the course of 2020. We're not sure if it translated right, but that's what it came up with for the title, so that's where that came from. It says this has real solid riding all throughout with a good mix of tricks and styles from a ton of riders you might not have heard of before. Take a look. And that is exactly why I wanted to throw it in here. It's almost 37 minutes long. I figured some of you might appreciate a video from people that you've never ever heard of before in a place that many of us have never ever been. And then after that, and I can't believe that I'm getting to say this again, finally, we've got some contest and jam stuff to talk about this week. After talking about Simple Session 2021 last week, and now this week getting to talk about some jam highlights videos, finally things are coming back. So the Monster BMX Street Style 2021 contest went down this past weekend, and if you don't remember from last year, this event is where they take a whole bunch of ramps and semi-trailers and shipping containers and rails and all kinds of other obstacles and throw them in a parking lot to make a course, and then throw some of the best BMX riders out there at the course and see who comes out on top. And this year did not disappoint whatsoever either. So with that, there's a full finals highlight up on RBMX's YouTube channel, as well as a best trick highlights video, as well as a full 4-hour live stream if that's what you're into. And with that, the placing of this are as follows. Larry Edgar got third, Matt Ray got second, Kevin Peraza got first, and Reed Stark won best trick. After that, we've also got more highlights stuff. This one was a little bit more low-key in that there wasn't as many people there, but Breakless TV did another King of the contest. This one was King of the 4 block, which Brett Silva, Poor Homie Rich, Nathan Williams, DeMarcus Paul, and I think that might be it, were on hand with Dennis Anderson and Rooftop announcing and giving away cash to these guys for tricks. Poor Homie Rich came out on top and absolutely slayed this event. There's a 1 hour, 15-minute stream up on the Breakless TV YouTube channel if you want to check that one out, as well as a highlights video from it to check out on their channel too. Then we've got 2 different product related things to talk about this week. The first is a We the People Buck frame promo. This is Dylan Lloyd's signature frame with them and a 1-minute promo video for it. Then we've got Parts Made for the Streets with Dan Collar from Eclat, and this is a 1-minute video with a bunch of really great B-roll of parts and Dan Collar riding them, essentially. So then after that, we've got one interview thing to talk about this week. It's Taj Mahalik in the making of The Legend of Paul Buchanan and the Church Gap. So the video is at the top of the interview, and then there's a bunch of questions from Jeff Z for Taj talking about Paul Buchanan and the animation, and then a few other unrelated questions as well. But I read through it, and seeing Taj's words about Paul Buchanan is definitely worth the read. So that being said, let me know your guys' thoughts on the RAD Etnies collaboration. Let me know if you're going to contribute to the Cerebral Palsy Awareness fundraiser that Shadow and Cerebral are doing. Also, if you're new here or you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button down below while you're leaving the comments so that we can see you tomorrow for another video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.